Right guys, here we go. I'm Matt, the Trequartista. This is my first ever FM series.
So that was me back in, April of 2018. So the channel has been officially going for 7 years. And that was my first ever save with FC Magdeburg. Quite an unusual team to choose. However, I'd watched a documentary a few months earlier and it kind of stoked my passion for not just FM, but FM and content creation. So I decided to start with FC Magdeburg. Now, some of you may be now aware, Magdeburg are in the second tier, formerly an East German side, pretty successful. However, when there was the reunification of Germany, Magdeburg unfortunately had a really poor season in their last year in the East German leagues. And when they kind of amalgamated the two sort of like leagues together, Magdeburg found themselves low down, and ever since then they've never reached that top flight of the Bundesliga. However, this season in real life, as you could see, they're going exceptionally well, and with it being a 7 year sort of like, I got a message through from YouTube saying 7 years since your first video, I thought it was maybe time to revisit, because after the 13 seasons with Magdeburg, back in FM 18, I only ever won the German Cup. So it's time to go home and see if we can take Magdeburg onto that next level, win that Bundesliga that we never managed to do under our time back in FM 18. Now, if you weren't aware, I found these because these were not a fallen European giants, but as you can see, in 1974, they won the European Cup Winners' Cup, beating not just anybody, but AC Milan. So an incredible bit of history. They've also won 3 East German League titles, which for some reason is not displayed on here, and then 7 East German Cups. Ever since then, they've only won a couple of 3 Liga titles, is which we're actually started in FM 18. We're starting in the Bundesliga too, because, as I said, in-game, they're not that great. Media prediction, as you can see, 13th. But we're not going to put any transfer stipulations on us, tactics stipulations. We're just going to wheel and deal. Our youth recruitment is terrible. Our youth facilities aren't great. Our training facilities are not great. And we kind of need to save all that money we can once we get in that Bundesliga so we can really push the big boys. You know, Leverkusen are huge. Leipzig are huge in terms of money. Dortmund, and of course, Bayern Munich. So we really need to kind of scrimp, save, beg, borrow our way to the top. Let's go. So, FC Magdeburg. Now, couple of players. Our captain is currently no longer with us, so we're going to have to select a new captain. And our key player is Patrick Pfeiffer, who is exceptional. 6'5". I love to see defenders like this. Pace 17, heading, 6'5". Yeah, head it, can run, big boy. Love that. 24, good age. Hopefully we can maybe get him back permanently with this only being a loan deal. Everyone else in the squad, it isn't too bad. It's not going to set the world alight. We've got a few little loanees in, but once again, he's a couple of nice little attributes in terms of maybe his first touch, his passing, vision, work rate, not great, determination's all right. But it's a good, bold squad. Not going to do any transfers during the first season, I don't think. Definitely not in this first transfer window, but we might see where we are in and around January. So we're predicted to finish about mid-table. 2 go up, and then 1 plays the playoffs. So the third place plays the third bottom of the Bundesliga to go up. I'm going to give us hopefully a couple of seasons to try and get out. I think maximum of 3. I'm hoping we can do it in maybe 1 or have a special season in 2. We're going to kick off the season. I haven't 100% decided on a tactic yet, but I've kind of got a few ideas in mind. I think we're going to have to be pragmatic in the save, especially when we're under budget for a lot of clubs. You kind of have to just find them fantastic players and try and put something together. I'm not going to have a nailed on sort of like tactical philosophy because that does limit you in terms of bringing players in. Now, the stadium's pretty good, only just built in 2006, pretty decent, estimated value. We're nice and secure. Finance-wise, 10 million in the bank. We're not planning on overspending. I think the club is quite sensibly run, which I suppose a lot of German clubs are anyway. This season, they want us to become established, become competitive, sign players based in Germany, sign German players, and play entertaining football, which I think we can do, no problem. So we've kicked off the season quite indifferently. A disappointing loss in the DFB Pokal. We're not going to win it, but you always want to get through. To be fair, we got screwed over a little bit, because we ended up drawing a team. Normally you draw those sort of like 3rd, 4th, 5th tier sides in Germany. You see the big teams having them massive scores. We drew someone in our division, so we have been knocked out after extra time. The league form as well has been a little bit tricky. Hanover, I would class that as a difficult place. They actually scored in the 96th minute as well, which was really frustrating. We then played Ulm again, drew 0-0 at home, a 1-1 draw at home to Paderborn, which is, I suppose, disappointing. But then we've had a really good 3-0 win over Darmstadt with Alexandra Hall Holmstrom, our best striker. He's a target forward, which is lucky because I wanted to play a target forward. I'm having a little bit of success with target forwards at the moment. The tactic looks like this. So a little bit different. A little bit isometrical. You either love an isometrical or you hate an isometrical. The tactics, by the way, will be all linked down in the Patreon if you want to support the channel, along with the save game file at the end of the save as well. So all the tactics will be available now with this video being released. The idea is, I'm trying to think about what we do in possession. So I'm not too bothered about, I'm having some success as well with wing back on defend. I haven't used them roles a lot, but over the last few months, I've used them all the time. But basically, they're just a support option for the wider players. Not getting too far forward, helping in recycling possession, helping in rest defence and not being too far, supporting play rather than being ahead of the ball. We've got an inside forward who's going to definitely be our goal threat from that left-hand side, cutting in and trying to hit and score goals. Target forward, dropping into support, with then late runs from the central midfielders on attack and the shadow striker, with the winger then offering some support to try and get balls in the box to our centre forward, with our deep line playmaker, a guy called Muller, who actually, Tobias Muller, looks pretty decent. His favourite position, or if your most comfortable role is libero, you're doing something decent, aren't you? So there he is, Tobias Libero, on the end of his career, 30 years old, but nevertheless, physical's 14. He doesn't strike me as a guy at 6'2" who's got a pace of 14, but we're going to take it. So he's the playmaker, setting play for these runs, balls into feet to the wider man who can then cross it in. And yeah, weirdly, as I said, we've started the season 3 draws and a win, but undefeated. Hertha Berlin, bottom of the league, interesting. These some big boys in here. Kaiserslautern, I suppose, like Hamburg, Hertha, Schalke, Köln, Hanover, probably a bigger club, bigger club than us. Season preview, look, we're supposed to be well down. There's the big boys. Look, Hanover, Fortuna Dusseldorf, Nuremberg, Kaiserslautern, all will have bigger budgets than us. So we're halfway through the season. We're coming up to just at the Christmas time, Christmas break and all that, and we're in and amongst it. We're, 6th place, 5 points off 3rd place, 5 points even off 2nd. Yeah, it's not absolutely crazy that we might be potentially in a promotion race. We have lost. The draws are killing us. We've had 7 draws and then a couple of disappointing, the home defeat there was disappointing. Is it Karlsruhe? We'll go with. Sorry about that. Butchered that. Apologies. But seeing as we're predicted to finish in and around mid-table, we're not doing too bad, are we? Still kept the same tactic as well for now, and it's going pretty well. We've got a nice base. Like Riemann is a really good goalkeeper, very high on eccentricity, good kicker. He's very much a really strong sweeper keeper. The 2 centre backs we mentioned FIFA at the start, and then we've got Marcus Matheson, really good at this level. I think if that was Championship defender, you would say that was good. I'd have him down as maybe a lower league Bundesliga player. Our wing back on defend, he's not good at going forward, but very solid, 6 foot. I do like to have, sometimes if I'm playing like a wing back on defend and inverted full back, I like to have that defender who is more of a centre back, very much along the lines of like the Ben White, the Akanjis, John Stones at times, who go into right back areas for Manchester City, even Gvardiol to a certain extent. So yeah, I'm very happy with how we're kind of shaping up at the moment. We've got a good player in Naka. Holstrom up front as well, 12 in 17, not bad. Since he's a target man on support. The only one that we're not quite nailed is that inside forward. I really wanted that inside forward to be that box threat, that goal getter. We're talking the high numbers that you can sometimes get from an inside forward. I was expecting him to potentially be the leading goal scorer in the team. So work to be done maybe in a transfer market to change that. So with 2 games to go, we've managed to keep our run going. Automatic promotion is probably out of our hands. 2 games to go with 4 points off Elversberg. I have heard of them, but in terms of them being in and around the top of the Bundesliga too, I haven't heard of it. In and around like our size, 14th media prediction. So we're doing well, us and them, considering there is the big boys, Schalke in 8, Hanover in 3rd, Köln. Where are Hamburg? It's Hamburg in 7th, look. So yeah, we've done pretty well, but we are within a shot of promotion. That 3rd spot, remember, plays the 4th bottom. The 3rd bottom in the Bundesliga, which currently is Mainz with 2 games to go, but it could be Werder Bremen, it could be St. Pauli, could it be Holstein Kiel, it could even be Gladbach. Any of those potentially could fall in with 2 games to go. it would be good to get up in the first season. As soon as we get in there, the money, clubs get in and around a lot. Well, there's a lot of money kicking about in the Bundesliga. It's all done a little bit differently in terms of rules, but yeah, that includes sort of like your TV money and then your prize money as well. If we can get into there, the bottom club gets 25 mil. Surviving gets you in around sort of like 30 to 40 million, depending on how high you go up. So the sooner we get in there, the better. So in our last home game of the season, we took on Fortuna Dusseldorf and we went 1-0 up. Lovely little move. Holstrom scoring to put us ahead in the first half. We then made it 2 soon after. Matheson, and it looked like it was going to go into the final game of the season. However, early on in the second half, things started to get a little bit crazy. So that made it 2-1. A counter-attack from Fortuna Dusseldorf makes it 2-2 on 85 minutes. However, 89 minutes, my boy Pfeiffer putting us 3-2 up, but the game unfortunately wasn't done. 93rd minute, they equalise again, 3-3. We've still got a chance with a draw. We've still got a chance. But then when you do this in the 94th minute, it's game over. And an absolutely incredible game for the neutrals, not for us. Losing the game 4-3. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. And then to make matters even worse, Muller got sent off in the last game of the season against Karl. That name, I'm hoping we can avoid them next season because I'm terrible at pronouncing that. And then with Muller getting sent off, we then have a goal disallowed in 86. They then go down the other end and score themselves to snatch the victory, which means we didn't get promoted. We finished in 5th place, which, is a good... I look at that. Karlsruhe, they've beaten us twice. Look, we needed to beat them twice to get the points. If we had beat them twice, we would have been second and promoted, but never mind. 11 draws have maybe cost us, 8 defeats in there. Some home games as well, like the Fortuna Dusseldorf, Eintracht Braunschweig, Hanover, you suppose you can allow, Cologne, you can maybe allow, Nuremberg away. Like, we've lost more at home than away, which is slightly unusual. Elversberg as well have dropped into the playoffs. They've bottled it in the last couple of games. So, all in all, quite a good season. 5th place. Weren't maybe expected to be in and amongst it, but we were. Good the goal difference as well. I'm happy with how the tactic has kind of gone. How many goals? Conceded a goal again, which is good. Maybe we need to score a couple more goals. But in terms of goals scored, we were second. So, second goals, joint best defensive record. We've just managed to not put them goals, obviously, into the right games where we've drawn a lot. But a really good start. Season 1. We're going to move into Season 2. We'll get some transfers. Interesting as well, you get quite decent money in the second division. Now, this is all TV money and positioning combined, but £11 million we've been given for achieving 5th place. That ain't bad, is it? That ain't bad. There's a lot of money kicking about in the German leagues. Budget set for the new season as well. We've been given a nice little transfer budget of 4.23. We may spin that into the wages. I think, you can't often do a lot at that level with that amount of money. That's only a couple of players potentially. So maybe a couple of freebies, 160,000 as well in the wages. So we've been given a little bit of a chunk there. Yeah, we probably need to move it across. Performance-wise, contract-wise, we have got a few players. There's an English player, actually, I forgot to mention, Xavier Amechi, who I believe was at Arsenal and then Bolton on loan, Hamburg. Looks like he may be okay for our winger. We got a right-sided winger on that side, so he should be able to do us a bit. Hakuri is likely to go. And then there's a couple of others that we'll try and keep. Our Bati Satik, would be our really good goal getter. To be fair, he scored 11 from that left-hand side. He's not comfortable at it. I kind of always want a big, pacey forward on that left-hand side as that inside forward. So something that we might need to do in the transfer market. So we've kicked off Season 2. Not a great start. 13th in the division. 1 win against Fortuna Dusseldorf. We've got a little bit of revenge, I suppose. 2 draws against Nuremberg and Dresden in the derby. And then 2 defeats. I suppose Hamburg away is always going to be difficult. And going for 3rd, I suppose we could maybe get away with. But it's not been amazing, considering I'm really chuffed with the transfer business we did in the summer. So a couple of players went noticeable. The most noticeable was Henkuri, who I kind of wanted to keep, but he just wanted too much money. He's gone for a lot of money. He wasn't amazing for us. He did okay, but it was just the fact he could play in a whole host of different positions. But he's gone, and the rest were in and around backups that we weren't necessarily going to miss. Now, on the outs, we lost Samuel Lorich, which was a little bit disappointed about. He was desperate to go and was kicking up a stink. So to get a little bit more money in, we allowed him to go to Bordeaux for only 190k. And then Hotil as well. I wanted to keep him as a backup, but as soon as he realised he was going to be a backup, he wanted to leave. So he has gone to Italy, I believe that is. Yeah, Cosenza in Italy. Come through the youth at Zurich. He's been around a bit, and then he's ended up going back to Italy. So he has gone. Now, on the ins, we need some pace. Early on in the transfer window, I was getting a little bit worried that we had no players, so I decided to take a punt on £185,000 worth of Enoch Owusu. Could be potentially pacey. He's only young, 20 years old, can dribble, can score, can run. That's all I thought. Backup central midfield, backup backup striker, backup winger, backup shadow striker. Can kind of do it, not do it all, but do little bits for me. We were just a little bit short to the start of the summer. Denis Zambrensky will be our new left fullback. Our left-hand side potentially may go a little bit more aggressive. So I thought him being a decent left wing, trying to sign German players has already been really difficult. Remember, that was one of the things that the board wanted. So I've tried to look at German players whenever I can and try and get a little bit of value. He was relatively cheap, 145 grand. Can do, good pace, technicals, average, couple of nice physical mentals in there. So, yeah, it gets better, I promise. João Wiedewald has come in, the Crystal Palace kind of player who feels like he's been there forever and never really plays. Very happy with him. That deep line midfielder, or I can change it to an anchor, half-back, which I love in play. He can play a wing-back on defend that we're currently doing. Centre-back, loves being a libero by the looks of it. Can play central midfield, so loads of options. Star player, a little bit of quality. So we're kind of struggling. There was nothing real in the transfer market. We had to really go and beg in the free transfer box. And we managed to pull out Jero Riedewald. Josh Achimapong is in. I really like this dude. I had him in a previous save, and he's really good. Once again, can play centre-back, can play wing-back on defend as well, so I'm really happy with that signing. Only on loan for the season, but really cool. Yeah, he's a really good player to have as inverted defenders, inverted full-back, wing-back on defend kind of players. Giacomo Di Pieri, we've got a bit of Italian trequartista in to try and act as that number 10 goal-getter. Finishing 14, 6'4", jumping reach, good fitness, decent pace, good flair, good technique. Yeah, I thought he would potentially be a really good shadow striker. A bit much in loan fee, 190 grand, but I thought potentially he could be like 10, 20 goal a season man from that number 10 position. Valentin Rossier to give us a little bit of squad depth. These are all considerable upgrades. He's a fantastic player if you look at just his attributes. 29 years old, so he's not past it yet. We can maybe get the best out of him over the next 3 seasons. Gift Orban, who went round sort of like the European clubs a couple of years ago, was looking like to be the next big thing. And in FM, he's not amazing. However, for us, I potentially thought backup striker, can play on the wing for us, and maybe that inside forward, because he's a goal getter. He's a striker, isn't he? So, yeah, I thought that was a really good loan deal from Hoffenheim. Our new potentially target forward, despite Holstrom having a good season, scoring 18 Bundesliga 2 goals. I just saw Dion Drenner Biello, and I thought, yeah, we need to get a bit of FM cult hero status into the save early doors. We've got him in. I think he'll be perfect. He made a decent start. 2 in the DFB Pokal. I suppose that doesn't really count, but 3 goals in 4 games. Not a bad start. Yeah, we've kind of raised the bar, and then Holstrom can be a backup. He can also do half a job at shadow striker, which is interesting as well. Tarak Buchmann is in. Young, once again, German. We need to sign German players. So getting him on loan will just keep the board happy a little bit. Will probably be a backup, but nice to have in amongst it. Decent physicals at the age of 20, I suppose. Decent pace. Yeah, he's not bad. 13s and 12s. Potential to maybe improve as well. One of our best loans, though, is Miles Lewis Skelly. Now, he's not going to play. The game doesn't even recognise him as a left full-back yet. But, central midfield, anywhere in the middle, can do the holding role. I'm kind of thinking of that central midfielder on attack that we have in the system at the moment. So, yeah, he could probably do a role for us in there. And Cesar Palacios, who signed him late. And I signed him after we signed the Italian Piero, but I thought this dude would be an even better option at shadow striker. In from Real Madrid, on loan. Yeah, like, I think I've built a really good squad. I think that's a fantastic summer transfer window. Let me know down in the comments. There's a lot of Caesars, by the way, in this save, but I thought that was pretty damn good. So there, it's how it's looking at the moment. We've dropped the CM on attack just to box at the moment, but it's pretty much the same. Couple of rotations option on this right. We haven't quite nailed this right winger, but there's a few players that can do it for us. Muller's still in there. Matheson. The disappointing one was Pfeiffer. He's gone back to Augsburg, and we just can't afford him. He's on 19 grand at Augsburg, and yeah, it may be something like we get promoted this year, then we'll definitely try and pick him up in the season. Okay, let's move on. We'll move on halfway. We'll see if we need to do any business in January, etc. We need to improve. It's not been a great start, but hopefully the players will gel together. That's been a very, very busy transfer window, so hopefully things will pick up in season 2. Okay, we're into February, transfer window, January out of the way, and as you can see, we're into the second part of the season. We're in second place, 37 points. It's pretty tight. There's only 5 points separating the top 5, and we're in amongst the big boys. Bochum, who have been in and around, I think they got relegated from the Bundesliga last season. Hamburg, Schalke, Hertha, all in amongst it. We've done exceptionally well. Only 3 games lost. So since you last saw us, we've only actually then lost one further game to Greuther Fürth again. 28 goals scored, only 16 conceded, which is incredible what we've been on recently. A couple of goals conceded in the last 2 games as well. A 3-3, oh, that was a friendly. But I can't ignore that. We lost to RB Leipzig in the DFB Pokal, but after extra time as well. So we've done pretty good. Look at that. The sea of clean sheets. Like in October, we didn't concede a goal. In November, we only conceded 1. Now, there's a couple of big games. Hamburg away is coming up very, very soon. And Bochum as well, second to last game of the season. But fingers crossed, we're going to get out of the Bundesliga 2 within 2 seasons, which would be pretty damn impressive. Okay, we've made it to the end of season 2. It is the 19th of May. And as you can see, we have been promoted by only a point, but we've done it. I don't know how we've managed to do it because we went on a bit of a losing spree. As you can see, we ended up losing a lot of games in the second half of the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However, unlike last season when we drew all them games, we didn't draw any. We either won or lost. So we ended up picking up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more wins, 24 points to add on to the current score we had from the first. Well, over the first half, we're after 20 games, so we're kind of into the second half of the season. So we've got a little bit lucky, I think, with the 58 points, because that was not enough, and we've only actually got 2 more points than what we did last year. So we've got a little bit lucky, but who cares? We've been promoted. Hamburg have done exceptionally well. We've kept with the same tactic all the way through the season. Noticeable performances. Dion Drenner Biello, on loan from Augsburg, 15 goals. Maybe not as many. I thought he would maybe score a little bit more than that. But the main man, Cesar Palacios, superb. 8 goals, 7 assists in his main standout season. I think is really good. We maybe have not scored as many goals as we would have liked. There's not a lot of goals in there. Barry Satik out on that left-hand side. 5 in 17, but loads of sub. Yeah, we've not scored enough goals. However, all that changes now because we're going into the new season in the Bundesliga. There's going to be a little bit of work to be done because we're going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 players there out on loan already. As you could see, a couple of backup players. Silas Ganaka, I'm going to probably keep just because he's a little lot he can do. Centre half, left back, defensive midfield, centre midfield with a couple of other roles in there as well. So, yeah, we'll try and sign him into a new deal. The other player, Jean Hugnet, I like this player. He looks pretty good in the game. His mentals and physicals are really good. But he's unhappy because he's not been playing much, so he's likely to leave. And then Falco Michel, that's a terrible haircut, so you will be getting released as well. Now, but disappointingly, only 2.18 in the transfer. So that was actually less for next season, which is odd. And we were given more money. Our training facilities have also been dropped as well, so it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky. By the way, I forgot to mention we got our revenge. We kind of shit ourselves a little bit because we lost to Kaiserslautern and then Bochum. But the last game of the season, the team that kind of stopped us getting promoted in the first season, we went there that time, and by 36 minutes, we were 4-0 up. Dion Drenner Bielo scoring a first half hat-trick. So season 3, first season in the Bundesliga is going to be tricky. With that budget, nice little bit of wages, but all them loanees, we're going to have to wheel and deal, 19 million from to only give us a couple of million and that, bearing in mind that we're going to be getting straight away, best part of maybe 40 million in season 3, is a little bit annoying. So, season 3, it has been extremely difficult. Not only have we not got the reputation to sign those free transfer players, we've also not had the budget. Remember that budget of 2.18 million. So, it's been a tricky transfer window. Now, we got a little bit of luck because Valentino Rosier, player that we didn't really use, I used him just as a sub because he didn't suit the tactic that we had. To be honest, I don't know. I think I only bought him because he was just better than what we had in terms of attributes, but we've managed to flip a profit on him, which has then kind of lined us up nicely to then go and sign our biggest fee, and I think a club record fee, of Samuel Di Benedetto. Now, I wanted to sign him because wonderful deep-lying playmaker at his age, only 21 years old, been capped by the under-21s. I think we've staggered the payments a little bit as well, so that's going to cost us for the next couple of seasons. Lovely mentals, physical's not bad, but deep line playmaker, and he's German. I think it was key to try and get some young players in. We don't have to get some older players in from the 3 transfers, but I think it's really important that we get some other players in that can kind of go with us along the save, and being German is super key. Another reason why we brought in Buchmann, didn't play many games for us last season at all, so I was surprised he wanted to join us full-time, but he has. And will no doubt, says he's going to be a star player right now. He's got the potential, I think, to really kick on and be a really good, once again, when we get to maybe the higher ends of the Bundesliga, he was probably not going to be good enough, but having a German backup, always useful. We then made Josh Achipong's move permanent. He had, once again, an average season, but I'm trying to think ahead a little bit with some of these cheaper deals. I think we're going to have to really try and exploit the free market a bit with them older, sort of like more reputable players, and then try and get some younger players in from bigger clubs on bargains. So that's what I've kind of done with the opening ones. And then Jean Satan was just on the transfer list. Really weird 3rd division player, had a really good season in the 3rd division, so he's jumping up 2 tiers, but a squad filler, German again. I'm just apprehensive of, because the board want those signed German players, having a player like him, crossing 14, can run, can play anywhere across the back line. Yeah, I thought it was a decent pickup, to be fair. And then we've gone a little bit rogue. Mariba, we needed that little bit of sprinkle of stardust. He's quite good in the game. A lot of 14s in there, a lot of 13s, good technique, can do the central midfield role for us, can do that shadow striker role, which I may be planning on doing. I may be trying to use him in that more advanced role. I do like my shadow striker to have even that kind of Paul Pogba kind of feel to it at times, that long galloping stride, big physical player. And even though his physicals are not amazing, 6'1", it's good stamina, decent pace, decent dribbling. Yeah, I think he might be a handful in that number 10 position. Anton Heinz has been signed, free transfer from Aschen, who were playing, that's like in Call of Duty. That's one of the places you play in Call of Duty, right, innit? We've snapped him up though, however, pretty decent as a wide player. Once again, back up, back up, back up. And then Lucas Wolf, back up. This is how difficult it's been, but German, just trying to get a crux of German. Remember, we had 4 players out on loan last year that we've not managed to get a couple of them back. Our only loan signing this time has been Armindo Saib, who looks pretty decent. I'm not sure if he's going to be our advanced forward or our winger. Likely going to be our winger, I would think, depending on how Holstrom does. We've not been able to get Bielo back, so yeah, he may, right wing striker, potentially. Now, the start of the season, lads, has not been good. It's not been good. We managed to play someone crap in the Bundesliga in the DFB Pokal, so we got a 6-1 win there. But then we've started, worryingly, the 2-0 defeat against Mainz was very worrying because I thought, ooh, it's probably not going to get much easier than this, a home game against Mainz, and we've got beat 2-0. Kind of even, very even. Frankfurt, 2-1 defeat, that's not to be sniffed at. Disappointingly as well, a 94th minute winner from Frankfurt to win it for them. And then Wolfsburg, 92nd minute winner. So we're not maybe a million miles away We've got a game against Hoffenheim next and St. Pauli, so we need to try and start picking up because, 3 defeats out of 3 is going to put you bottom of the league, and that's where we are. So we're going to kick on. We're still doing the tactic at the moment. However, things may have to change as the season progresses. Now, little cut off, just to say thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. Smash a like if you are. This is going to be sort of like new content on the channel. I've kind of wanted to do just storytelling a little bit, and it's really difficult to do like the classic Let's Plays. Even Lelujo's put a video out this week saying he's struggling. So if he's struggling, then the lot of us are. And I've wanted to kind of have this, the channel at Magdeburg is a perfect example of us just having a team, a save, a story. And I really want to carry that forward over the next few weeks and months. So these are going to be big saves, big videos, but I really hope you're enjoying it so far. Now, interestingly, over 50% of you are not subscribed, which in terms of YouTube is not terrible. It's quite a decent number, that. But I would appreciate it if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying this sort of content. Smash that subscribe for me. Let's go and see how Season 3 has been progressing. February the 1st, we're over halfway through the season. We've just lost again to Mainz and, was it Wolfsburg we played at the start of the season? But we're 16th. However, we're 4 points off Union Berlin. They've got a game in hand, and we're 7 points off Bochum. Level with St. Pauli, and then luckily we've got Heidenheim in the league that are really struggling. So right now it looks like relegation or a playoff against that third place. So we'll see how we get on. I kind of expected this just because of the transfer window. I thought we had like last season, Season 2, I thought we had an incredible transfer window, and that maybe showed in us getting promoted, and this season has been a disaster. We flipped the tactic a little bit, so this will be, for you Patreons as well, and as you can see in the wide areas, we've made a couple of changes. Few changes, there's been a few signings in the winter because I thought we had money left in terms of the wages, so I thought we really need to make something happen. So we brought in Connor Chaplin, who had been released and not picked up a club. I did want to immediately play him as like that AP potentially, but I just thought he would be good. Sorry, they're not the AP, the number 10, the shadow striker. I've got him in. He's had 2 games and an average rating of 6.3, so not a great start. One player that I think we may get a tune out of, though, is Daniel James. £21,000 a week. That's a lot for us, but he's absolutely electric still, isn't he? 17 pace, 29 years old. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. I think wherever we are, he will be able to have a decent impact once we hopefully kind of get going a little bit. And then Engelhardt, we looked at him in the summer, but he just wanted a little bit too much. And now his wage demands have dropped quite considerably, and we were desperate. And despite him having that moustache, we've brought him in. And he's played in lower leagues, been exceptionally good, but he is a good all-rounder German and has fitted in quite nicely. Now, we've changed the tactic a little bit. We weren't getting much out of that shadow striker. When Mariba plays, he will go in as that central midfielder on attack. That role is still for him, so he can do it. But I just thought it was giving a little bit more of a base out of possession. So I'm hoping we can just be a little bit stronger. Our results have been, what you'd expect for being third in the league. Where are we? There. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, when you get a win in a fight, a really big win against Union Berlin in there. Like, we're just getting 1 win a month at the moment. Stuttgart 3-2. Werder Bremen, like literally 3 months in a row, we've had a couple of 1 win a month. Werder Bremen, luckily we got one at the end of December. And then into the Christmas period, January, 2 massive wins. Bochum 2-1 away from home. Engelhardt getting a couple. And then Heinz scoring in a 1-0 win over Frankfurt. So, yeah, it could be likely relegation, innit? It's going to be relegation, maybe. 3rd place, potentially. Who are 3rd place at the moment in the Bundesliga? Yeah, big boys. We could do with maybe playing like an Elfsberg. To be fair, Augsburg and Fortuna Düsseldorf done exceptionally well. Look at Schalke. Schalke needs saving, don't they? So if you're enjoying this content, maybe Schalke could be a story. If you'd like to see that, let me know down in the comments. Let's go on to the end of the season, play through, see where we're at. Let's just cross fingers, toes, everything. I've brought you back with a game to spare. Heidenheim relegated. We are 3rd bottom, so we've got a chance. But there's a chance we can get relegated because St. Pauli are behind us on 22, so just a point behind us. Bochum have had a miserable second half of the season. They were way off us and have just not picked up any points in the second half of the season. So I think we beat them there, look, and then we played there. And then since then, they've only won one game. So their run has been horrendous. While as us, we've just picked up a few wins, like 2 massive wins against teams around us. St. Pauli, 1-0. Saïb scoring, and then Heidenheim 2-0. 2 clean sheets, which is impressive. And then a Köln, yeah. We've managed just to pick up 3 wins in that period when Bochum picked up 1, which has kind of brought them closer to us. So 1 game left. Who do we play? Bochum at home. So it's all down to this game. The other noticeable one is St. Pauli. Now, St. Pauli have got Bayern Munich at home. So you would expect, who, by the way, have been crowned champions, incredible season. It's in our hands, but we need to win. As expected, to be fair, they've done quite well, St. Pauli there, only losing 1-0 to Bayern Munich. So it left it all in our hands. A win would secure safety. A draw or a defeat would mean a playoff. A playoff against Nuremberg as well, who are, or maybe even Fortuna Dusseldorf. So potentially both teams we could probably beat. I'm quite happy with that over 2 legs. We could be okay. Now, as you can see from the match stats, the game was pretty even. It was 0-0 until the 95th minute. So we were on our way to a relegation playoff. However, I'm so happy that I kept him. Naka, where is he? It's good football. Cut back in. What a way to win, do anything. Win a cup, win a league, avoid relegation. A 95th minute goal, and we've survived in the first season. We can breathe a little bit. And with our season confirmed in the Bundesliga for next year, we've been given a budget of 425 grand and a transfer budget of 10.77. So a little bit, a lot more. 8 million, 38 million in the bank. But nonetheless, it's been a really tricky season. A lot of people, like the only person in green, as 2 players with 2 substitute appearances. So it's been tricky. Saïb has come in, but our only player is a loan player, but I believe we can sign him. He's not amazing, but he's German and he's scoring a few goals for us. He's got a dozen goals for us in Bundesliga, so we'll take that. Next down is Heinz, who's had a pretty decent season out on that left-hand side. Still not that inside forward that we really want, but had a pretty good season. Bernardetto's done pretty well from defensive midfield. Flogart came in and scored a couple of big goals for us. And Daniel James, 5 assists with an average rating of 6.66. Connor Chaplin will go down as one of my worst ever signings. He's got a year left on his deal as well at nearly £15,000. And yeah, he didn't play much longer than February before I decided he's not what we need right now. He's probably, I don't know what he is. He can finish, but doesn't have much pace, anything. I don't really know what he is. I think like in real life, he's maybe that number 10 shadow striker kind of player, isn't he? But we've survived. We've got 10 million. Season 4. Let's see what can be done. So, season 4, we've actually moved on to October. So, we're in a nice little part into the season now. And as you can see, we're predicted to finish 18th, which you maybe expect with losing the smaller team of Heidenheim, in particular, St. Pauli going down. Yeah, big boys maybe coming up. It's maybe to be expected. And we've had a little bit of business. So, players released. There's a couple in there, including Daniel Heber, who I just decided, 33 years old. He's been a good servant for us, but time was right to try and get a better quality in. 33 years old. He was wanting more money as well, than what he's actually settled for at Nuremberg. So I thought it was time to move him on. Holstrom has gone as well. Hasn't been happy. You know, we kind of abandoned him after the first season because we got Biello in, and then last season, yeah, we just went with trying to get a little bit more pace on the break. So Holstrom has decided to go out on a free transfer. And then Attic as well, that guy that, when I first saw him, I thought, you can play a bit, but has never really kicked him. Decent servant for us over those first 3 years. He's actually played a number of seasons before we took over. More disappointing than any, Marcus Matheson has gone back to Nordsjælland. We were kind of, once again, budgets. £10 million is not a lot in the Bundesliga. If you talk that in terms of wages, is £192,000 a week. So, you know, that doesn't leave us a lot if we really want to kick on. And he was, once again, 31. Maybe I should have just gone with it and offered it, but he's maybe happy he's gone back home, hasn't he? So, yeah, he's gone. So we need a little bit of work to be done. And it's been difficult. We've not even spent the full 10 million. We've still got 2.12 left. However, we've brought in some players. So Saib has come in. Free transfer, got us 12 goals, probably kept us up last year. So he's in. Reece Norrington Davis, which I thought was a really good, can play left back, can play left centre back. I thought a little bit of an improvement on what we had there in Wiedewald, with then Lucas Digne being his backup. Now, Lucas Digne is also our new director of football, so he's kind of doing dual roles. He's not great, but it was a way of getting him in through the door. So, yeah, Lucas Digne is now our director of football. I've got him, basically, he's signing staff for the other teams. He's offering new contracts. He's doing, like, contracty bits, finding young players for us, but I get the final say. So yeah, I've got him grafting. Mayut Adin, we've got in 600,000 right back. Just, yeah, we were getting desperate and we needed a backup right back. That is it, basically. But excitingly, Lucas Nemetcha's in. I kind of think advance forward, shadow strike, if we go back to that role, can go left inside forward. I'm really happy. We've got a player, right? We've got a player. He's not played in a really poor Wolfsburg side, but we've got a player. He's German as well. Probably my favourite signing of the window is Amin Al-Dakil. Now, he's in Burnley in the game and does kind of kick on a little bit in certain saves. So we've kind of used a lot of our budget, 1.7 and, more importantly, £30,000 worth of wages on him to be our kind of star centre-back, can play, can run, young enough, yeah, and potential maybe sell on value. We're getting to that point now where we need to try and sign some players that are hopefully going to be of good value. And I think a lot of these do have potential sell-ons. And then we've brought in Phil Hares, big, meaty boy, 6'4", jumping reach, can head it a little bit, good first touch, good touch for a big guy, and then finishing 13. So, yeah, we've got him in. He did quite well in the second tier last year, but yeah. I thought I was looking at the attributes rather than the goal scoring record. That was a lot. Shit. Spent a lot of money there, £4.1 million on him. But anyway, he's in. And then a young goalkeeper. Ryman's getting older. This guy's been kicking about. My Rupert Grint has been kicking about in the sort of like the wanted section of my shortlist for a while. We've decided to go with it. Third division. He may come up better in other saves. It's interesting. Go and check him out because he starts the save, relatively young. Played a lot of games as well. Look, he's in at the age of like 18 there in the third division. So good experience. Look, he's not going to go next level, but I always like to make sure that when we do kick on to that next level, top half, Bundesliga, chasing European sort of like spots, that he could be a decent backup squad filler, German, ticks boxes. Yeah. So that was the signings. I'm quite happy with it. Tactic-wise, we've changed it up a little bit. We've brought the central midfielder back and we're playing him as a volante. I do love the DLP on defend and the volante on support as a double pivot. So the idea is now that he goes into that area there with Haas dropping in the middle. He doesn't suit the advance forward, but I'm just trying to get a few more goals out of the team. Tactic available for the Patreons, remember, and it's worked extremely well so far. We are 7th after only 6 games, but 7th nonetheless. 2 defeats. Mainz are killing me. Bayern Munich have absolutely smashed us 5-0. A draw against Augsburg. And then 3 wins. Borussia Dortmund. We've managed to beat one of the big boys early doors, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. Phil Haas scoring after 60 minutes. And look, not much possession, but we're creating chances. Against the big boys, maybe we may be able to nick stuff because we are creating chances. I'm happy. We're predicted, remember, to finish bottom. Now, I don't know if we're going to have the power to really continue this run. There is a lot of teams below us that are maybe bigger. In particular, I would have thought teams like Frankfurt and Gladbach would probably go above us. But, we've made a good start, haven't we? So the months of November, December and January have not been kind to us. We have slipped from 7th to 14th and we find ourselves in a relegation battle. There is 5 points separating Bremen all the way to Union Berlin. So it's tight, but we are on the downslide. And I imagine some of these teams are picking up points. We've just beaten Augsburg as well, 1-0, and we've just drawn against Bayern Munich. So potentially we might be okay. We're still going with the same tactic. I don't want to change it now. We've looked like we may have. I don't know if we've turned the corner is maybe the wrong expression. We've brought nothing in January either. but it's going to be a case of just fingers crossed. There is some games in there that we've still got to play. Bochum again, who are down at the bottom. Wolfsburg at home. Union Berlin at home. Werder Bremen at home. Yeah, it's going to be tight once again. I'm really disappointed now we've dropped off. Maybe it was just early season form and maybe just the natural level of our squad is probably, despite the transfers, we were predicted to finish 18th, weren't we? So 900 to 1 outsiders we were ranked at. So it makes sense. It makes sense that we've maybe found our gradual level, but hopefully there's a lot of teams in there, which gives us hope that we can maybe just last, 14 games of the season, we can be all right. So to finish the season, we managed to get some of them wins. A 2-0 win over Werder Bremen, a 3-1 win at Nuremberg, really good result. A 3-2 win, a cheeky bonus, beating Leipzig 3-2. Then beating Gladbach, but a run of 5 straight defeats in there. And then disappointingly drawing with Bochum 0-0. But those 4 wins has meant we finished 14th. So in the end, 7th, 7 points away from relegation. A lot of these teams just didn't pick up enough points. Bochum have gone down, by the way, with no wins in the season, so it could have been a lot worse. We're not that kind of level, but yeah, another fight for our lives. We've ended the season above expectations. I think maybe I said that start of the season was just a little bit of a shock, wasn't it? It wasn't maybe to be expected. We're maybe performing at the level you would expect. And then from the new season, we've been given a budget again of 10 million, which is a little bit frustrating. We have got less money. We've lost a little bit of money this season. 30-odd million pounds in prize money from the Bundesliga is pretty good. But interestingly, the board thought it was a good idea, even though we're in a newish stadium that's council-owned and only playing over, £342,000 a year. They've decided to build a stadium. So that has come at a cost, because we've now got a £66 million bank loan and we're paying, £625,000 a month. So that is the best part of £7.5 million a year that's coming out now of our budget. So that's probably why we've only been given £10 million again. We're going to have to beg, borrow, and steal. Who's leaving? I think Chaplin's leaving. Yes. Phew. Thank God. Chaplin's leaving, so that frees up a little bit. Riederveld's on 15 grand as well, so there's 30 grand's worth of wages in there, along with the 46,000. So there's a little bit, but it's going to be, beg, borrow, steal. Season 5, this is tough. And after 6 games, we're on October the 1st, season 5, we are 15th. 1 win, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Win against Frankfurt, 2 draws, Berlin and Bayer Leverkusen, that's a good away point. 3 defeats. Köln, maybe disappointing. Bayern Munich's a gimme. And then Hamburg, a team that are maybe going to be in and amongst us. So it's going to be a scrap for our bloody lives. Again, transfer business, I was actually quite happy with in terms of what we did last season to this season. I was more than happy. Daniel James, we managed to get off the books. 30 grand's worth of Daniel James. He's gone. Never kicked on. 5 assists in that second season. Few sub appearances, but not great. And then Norrington Davis as well, who was unhappy about game time. So we've managed to let him go, getting a little bit of money in, because we have spent a little bit. More importantly, all of it on one player. Adrian Nino. Is he going to be the man that can score us a few goals? He's already scored 2 in 7, 2 assists. Can play out wide in that winger support role. Can play up front, pace. Normally what you'd class as, apart from the height and the jumping reach, what you'd class as a really good FM striker, right? Can run, can chase in behind, can dribble, can finish, good passing as well. So I'm really happy with that signing. 24 years old. Maybe we can maybe sell on and make a little bit of profit. And then the other ones, Yusuf Moukoko is he a forgotten wonder kid already? But for me, he can play in a couple of positions across the mid, like the 4 attacking positions, which is really cool. It's Moukoko in it, so I just thought I need to sign him. And he is a decent squad player for us. Happy being a squad player as well, which is interesting. Noel Eseko Nikhil, midfielder, probably going to be a backup, German, hence why he's been signed. Filippo Mane, Italian defender. I like the idea of him once again doing that dual role between the backup right back and centre back. He's Italian, but spent most of his time in Germany with Dortmund. I think a lot of you will probably remember him from maybe FM23. Hadji Wright, Coventry City. I kind of thought we needed that inside forward that could be a big, aggressive, physical, 6'4", can kind of cover that. He's aged a little bit, still got good fitness, jumping, reach and strength, pace not amazing, can finish. Yeah, I thought that would be a decent signing for us, can play up front as well if Nino's not working out, and has already scored 4 goals in 7 games for us. Harrison Burrows, new left back, solid, can play, can cross. If we're playing Hadji right, 6'4", can he get a decent ball into the box for him? This was a heart signing because I really like Harrison Burrows. And then we picked up Calvin Phillips, which I know you've seen, and he gets a lot of hate. I absolutely love him. I hope Leeds pick him up this summer on a free transfer, and maybe not a free transfer, or a really cheap loan deal, and get him in because he deserves to kick on a little bit. I think also signing for Ipswich this year maybe looked like a good signing, but the way they've struggled in the second half, I wanted him to give him the opportunity of having a really good season and us playing defensively. Look, he's better than what we've got. Along with a little bit of a potential superstar. We've got him on a free transfer from Bayern Munich. I'm looking at can you do a little bit for us? Can you potentially have a little bit of sell-on value? Jonathan Asp Jensen. So that was Jonathan Asp Jensen, Calvin Phillips, Burrows, Hadji Wright, Filippo Mane, Nikili, Nino, and Makuka. I think it's a good window. I honestly think it's a good window. Maybe we're going to be okay, bottom half, I suppose. Predicted 16th. Hoyston Kiel look like going to be whipping boys, but there's not that Heidenheim Bochum this year, I don't think. So it's going to be Mainz, maybe looks like potentially could be the whipping boys, but they may have just had a really tricky, they've had Bayer Leverkusen, Frankfurt, Bayern in there in the first couple of games. So confident, don't know. Little bit of a change with the system. Tried to be a little bit more pragmatic with it in terms of we still want to get up the pitch and press and stuff, but we've got now an anchor in instead of a DLP. Instead of the Volante, just to hold our shape. Nice double pivot. We've got a nice solid back six there. Can we be defensively more solid? Hasn't necessarily worked because we've lost 2-0, 3-1 and a 3-0 in there already, with draws 2-2 and 1-1. So we've had 1 clean sheet in 6. You know what happens. We're going to be down there again at the end of the season, aren't we? But interestingly, end of the season, we finished 11th, which is the highest position the club's ever been in. I'm more than happy with that. Well clear, 42 points, and more points that we've had over the last few years. A lot more points over the last few years. Mainz, Hoysted Kiel relegated with Hertha Berlin in the playoffs, and we've done really well. We've pulled away and had once again, lots of reds in there, but just picking up wins. Couple of the wins, by the way. A 3-1 win at Gladbach to finish the season. A 1-0 win over Dortmund away. Nino scoring in the 90th minute. Picking up, and then Gladbach. We love playing Gladbach. By no means is it amazing having 11 wins, but I'll take it. Beating Dortmund home and away. Home form has been a lot better. We're kind of really beating teams we should beat with a couple of sprinkles in there. And I'm more than happy. But the wages have gone up slightly, but we're still given another £10 million. So it seems to be each year, if we don't get into Europe, we're in around this lower part. We did get a good bit of money. I'm sure we got a nice little bit of money, prize money. So last season, finishing down in whatever it was, 15th, we got 33 mil. This season, nearly £42 million for finishing 11th. So, trying to get as high as we can is definitely going to help. Still struggling on the goals a little bit. By the way, Elax Mariba, just what we wanted. 11 goals and 7 assists. It's his third season. His third season with us. And he's finally managed to, 11 goals, 7 assists. Absolutely superb. Been playing a lot in, obviously, that shadow striker role, which I'm really pleased about. And Nemecha's done more of the advanced forward role. Got himself 11 with then decent numbers from Nino, Hadji Wright. So that's good. Those 4 players, we kind of said the back 6 were there to stop the game getting away from us and trying to keep maybe more clean sheets and less goals per game. And then the front 4 kind of try and deliver in those attacking areas. And they haven't done bad at all. High average ratings. The only high average rating regular was Mariba. Mokoku, as you can see, has done all right when he's come on, but barely played for us. I think right now as well in the save, this is going to be us. Until we can maybe change up how we're signing players, maybe we start looking into that South American market and trying to bring maybe a couple through every year. The youth stuff I've kind of abandoned because all the facilities, like I've had to redo the training facilities because the training facilities dropped and we're still at that level. So it feels like I don't want to waste money on the facilities and the youth recruitment. It's not that kind of save. And we just kind of, sign players, churn players out for a number of years. And hopefully each season we just gradually make that step, maybe get a couple of wonder kids in from Brazil, Argentina, and then sell them on. Once we get that first big sell, it kind of then does kick you on everyone to buy more and gets you going. We've not been able to do that yet in terms of the transfer market. Forgot to say as well, while we're on the start, so this is the start of season 6. Over the years, we've made a few improvements to the transfer window, to the staff. So over the years, we've brought in a decent array of talent. Like we've got some good coaches amongst us. Ian Birchinall, Luca Esner is a fantastic coach at our level. So Bernard Traz, which I imagine everyone knows, has been a manager in the game, a coach in the game, which a lot of people use. So we've done bits with the staff. Again, we've done a little bit of a revamp this year. We've brought in Gilberto as a scout, as we're trying to scout South America, like we said. Edouard Graf is in as a scout, very scruffy looking fella, but very good scout nonetheless. Gianluca Pesotto is in to see if we can get some Italians across the board. So I'm kind of happy with the backroom. The backroom's set up really nicely now. Transfer-wise, though, it has been tricky. I suppose now it's a little bit more of supplementing what we've got. So we've brought in Mateo Perez Vinloff, a player that I've had a couple of years ago in one of the saves, and we've decided to use him as we maybe look to be a little bit more progressive in one of the fullback areas. I've decided left back's going to be that side. So he has come in on a free transfer from Bayern Munich, signed German-based players, which is still one of the things that the board want from us. I think was actually a decent signing, 23 years old. Yeah, happy with that. Paul Scholl, backup, central defender. See, we're still not kicking on with these signings. We're not being given enough by the board to really kick us on. A lot of the with Magdeburg being a relatively small and known club, these older players in their 30s sort of like getting released, not wanting to come to us, unfortunately. Ibrahim Suleimana is in on a free transfer from Atalanta. I thought he would be really good in that anchor, volante, whatever we're going with in that double pivot. It's not amazing though, is it? It's an upgrade, but not amazing. And then Wilson Odebear, potentially a really good upgrade on that right-hand side. Nino can maybe move. He can move across this left-hand side. Yeah, I actually thought that was a really good signing with maybe a little bit of sell-on value as well. And then we have spent money, £5 million of it, on Lucas Reich. He is from Juventus, I think, in the end, but he's been out on loan a couple of times. German as well. Really good. Fullback on defend. He can be that starting wing-back on defend role that we've had a lot of in here. We're still going with the same system. Because of the season we had last year, it would be a shame to sort of like move on from it. And all we've done is made ourselves a little bit stronger. The starting 11 is better. Odebear's coming on that right-hand side. He's better. Mariba's out at the moment, but no doubt we'll get a little bit of a run in as the season starts. Odebear, Nemecha, Wright, Nino, Mariba, Benedetto, Suleimana, I'm happy with those. And then at the back, we've still got Dakiel. Vinloff will come in, may get him going a little bit further forward. Reich, superb signing. Super happy with that. Look at his value shot up. Give me a little bit of that. Let's have someone coming in for him and spending big, and that will hopefully transform our fortunes. I'm a little bit worried. We are in 10th. So we've just started the season okay. 1 win against St. Pauli, convincing win. Draw against Union Berlin, 0-0. And then a defeat against Bayer Leverkusen and Hoffenheim. So it's been okay. It's just okay. I'm really happy with the 4-1. 5-0 win in the DFB Pokal as well. I think we're going to be okay. But it's going to be, once again, one of those seasons where we're just staying and around it, I think. Anywhere in this, probably 15th to 10th. I can't imagine us finishing any higher than that. So we're into February, transfer window done, and we got a problem. Big problem. We're 17th. The following 16 games, we've only won 2. Hamburg and Gladbach. So we're right in the relegation dogfight. I haven't brought anybody in. I forgot to mention as well, the players out. We let Phil Hayes go, the striker who we brought in to do big things for us and couldn't score. And Harrison Burrows spent one season for us before going out to Mainz just to release a little bit of wages. So there just isn't anything. I'm trying to be really pragmatic because I know that the board are not going to then shove another 30 million at us. So whatever we can save potentially, and, you know, thinking about that Chaplin and Dan James impact that we didn't get from them, I kind of thought we're just going to have to go with what we've got. It's going to be a tricky second half of the season. It's still relatively tight, but there's still a little bit of a gap now between Wolfsburg and us. There's 9 points there. So it's going to be a fight between us, Werder Bremen, Heidenheim, which I'm kind of hoping are really going to struggle coming back up, Hamburg and Gladbach. I really don't want to go down in a save. The board are just happy with us. There's a takeover in place at the moment as well. We're a little bit all over the place at the moment. Season preview, media prediction was 18th. Is that what the season preview? 17th. So look, we're expected to be where we're at. I'm a little bit disappointed the board are still seeing it. You know, they're not really supporting us enough with this new bloody stadium being built. Only 8 million in the coppers. We need to, something needs to change. We need a little bit of luck. We may require that little bit of luck this season. Goal-wise, Hadji Wright's done well. Odebear's done well. Mariba's chipping in. If they can get up to maybe double figures, we may be okay. Nino as well, look, only three goals, but 7 assists. It's going to be tight. So following the February the 1st where we were last, we've only picked up 3 more wins. Freiburg, Heidenheim, and Augsburg. So there was 9 points. However, we have weirdly drawn the last 5 games of the season. And as you can see, during the season, we've actually swapped the formation and we've gone to a 3, which probably has helped us a little bit. There you go. There's our formation. And we've ended up finishing in 14th. So a little bit nip and tuck. Ended up only being what? Supposed Werder Bremen never really kicked on. But those 8 wins, 33 points, we've kind of gone down a bit in terms of performances. Home wins, very important. Defensively, very important. In terms of goals conceded, we've done pretty well. However, we've only scored 28 goals. So that is a huge problem for us. We weren't scoring and we were conceding. So going to this is what we were trying. And it's worked. It's worked. We survived when at one point it looked like we wouldn't. The idea was to try and get our 2 fullbacks a little bit higher up the pitch. Still nice little base. Nemecha, like that right. I'm kind of thinking of that ball there from the right back with a late run with then the space being created by Nino in the F9 and then Hadji Wright just being an outlet on that left-hand side. And look, it's worked all right. It was a version of a Xavi Alonso tactic. It was a version of my Xavi Alonso tactic that I did for Real Madrid. I am going to change it now because I have done a couple of tweaks to it. By the way, as always, link down in the description to the Patreon if you want to support the channel. So yeah, whatever the fuck that was, I think I'm going to change back in the summer. But yeah, it looks odd. Thoughts in my head how I thought the movements could work. And it's, look, by the way, it's been better. Like we're undefeated in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games there. With draws against Munich and Dortmund away. So, yeah, and Gladbach away. I would class that as a well-changed tactic. Now, a little bit less in prize money, which means they've given us £2 million less than what we normally get. So it's got worse. Once again, the wage goes up gradually, but having even less money, like we can't do anything with £8.179 million. We can't do anything with it. Oh, it's getting really frustrating. We need a little bit of luck. We need a little bit of luck. Any players, like a lot of them are old as well and not worth. Is there players of value? Lucas Reich, he's the only one. He's had quite a poor season really, but he's holding good value. The others are not. Like selling our goalkeeper for £10 million will not really help us, will it? Because then we have to replace him with that. So everyone that we would sell apart from Reich would just need replacing, and it would probably end up being like for like. So I like the continuity that we've got with a couple of players like Bernardetto has been with us a fair few seasons now. He's done 4 seasons with us. Mariba's been with us, what, is that 4 seasons for Mariba now as well? Amo Saib has been with us 4 seasons. So yeah, I'm liking the continuity of it. It's not like a rebuild where we're getting rid of people. We're just having to try and add a little bit as we go. Free transfers will come in because we've got Wright, Nemecha, Digne, Aydin, Wolf, Elkhart. Wow. Mane, who's not really played much for us, Buchmann, Bonete, who's one of our young players that we thought might end up being half decent and has proven not to be the case. Like Filippo Mane, I actually had really high hopes for him in the 2 seasons, but he's been poor, so likely he will leave unless he agrees to sign in a really low deal. Yeah, to be fair, we can get that under 11, we may keep him for another season. So moving into season 7, less money. We've got our Brazilian scouts working. I'm just hoping something magical will appear. Whether that's a wonder kid coming through, whether it's a couple of free transfers, whether it's someone coming in and randomly offering. I'm not going to offer him out, Reich, the right back. I'm not going to offer him out. That would be the wrong decision. Keep him, build. Like, if each season, the idea was that each season, if we could just make our squad a little bit better, which I thought we did last year with the signings we made, the 3 positions that we kind of improved on, the right back, the inside forward areas. I just thought we would just each season just get a little bit better, which we are. But on top of that, everyone else is getting better. We're kind of just doing enough and they're doing more. So that's why we're maybe just not kicking on. We need more money. So moving into season 7, armed with this nice little tactic here that we've got on the screen. I do like the look of it. I can never really get it to work perfectly. However, it's worked pretty well in season 7 for us. So we didn't have much to spend, did we? We were talking like £8 million, I think we had to spend. We've let go Lucas Nemecha, who was getting to that point where, you know, he's now 32, would have been 31 at the start of the season when we let him go. I think the right decision. Had a couple of seasons, the 8 and the 9, but last season, completely way off it. Nowhere near good enough for us. Aydin as well, did play a little bit in the last season, but once again, not really what we're after in terms of those attacking qualities, those technical qualities. And Lucas Wolf was no more than a bit part, literally German. Can he help out? He actually had a good couple of games, look, 2 assists, 2 goals, a couple of seasons ago in 8 appearances, but that did come in the DFB Pokal, which kind of never counts when it comes to round 1. So with those 3 out, it was pretty quiet. Hadji Wright went out as well on a free transfer, but we did bring in some quality. We brought in Lucas Nemecha's brother, Felix. Now, I absolutely love him in real life. We've been Man United do a little bit of business for him in the summer. Perfect as that really strong 8 or even maybe a 10. The idea is that if we're moving in maybe an advanced playmaker, shadow striker, he can maybe even do it from a little bit deeper in that Volante role. I think he's absolutely perfect. He's German. He's top draw from what we've had previously. Maximilian Eggestein came in. He's going already. He's just coming for a season. The thing we're getting is at the moment is that the board want us to sign German players and our German squad is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's because the quality that we want, we have to go foreign because we can't get the best German players in. They cost too much. They're not available and we're down the list in pecking order in terms of where players want to go. So we need to think outside the box a little bit. We're lucky that we probably got Nemecha in. Felix Nemecha in the first place. But players like this are kind of like a common theme at the moment where we have them for a few years, they do a job, we ship them out on a free, we sign them on a free, someone else comes in. And Eggestein has very much been part of that kind of procedure that we've had over the last few seasons. Jack Hinshelwood is in. Now, I signed it for 2 reasons. One, because he's son of the York City manager who has managed to get us on the cusp nearly of promotion to the from the National League to League 2. So that's one reason. Reason number 2 is that he's extremely versatile. I thought with us not needing a massive squad, if we can have someone like him in the squad, he could cover a variety of roles if we change tactic. Just a fantastic substitute to have. He wants to be a regular starter. He started 25 Bundesliga games for us this season. But more importantly as well, if we look at the games he's played, he's been injured a little bit, but playmaker, complete wingback, volante, he's done those roles. And at a push as well, he could probably even do like the right side of a back 3. So super useful. And then we spent money on Mateus Di Micchio, our first foreign kind of not wonder kid, but he's a realist. But continental reputation, capped by Argentina. We got him at the age of 21, 4.9. Look, tremendous physicals, decent mentals, can cross it. Good at marking, good at passing, good at tackling with good technique. So I find that as a really good defender in a back 3. And then a really good that we're currently playing, or can do a job in a back 4 as a right back. And maybe even do half a job, look, defensive midfield and in the wing back role as well. But I'm kind of thinking, if we continue with this back 3, him right side back 3, absolutely perfect. If we make the change, then he'll definitely fill in as a right back. So I'm really chuffed with that. His value's not much yet. He's wanted by clubs in Saudi, shock, but I'm hoping that he stays with us at least until we get that value maybe even trebled. Okay, that was the transfers, which led us to a decent season. 12. Is that our best finish? No, 11th was our best finish. 39 points. Still not many, is it? But we were kind of clear of it. We've had a decent second half of the season as well. You see that we picked up a little bit and we've kind of stayed well clear of relegation. I don't think we're ever in it. We were in the playoffs for one game week and then we've managed to kind of be out and away, and we finished it, 10 clear of Heidenheim, who was third bottom, and then 20 clear of Holstein Kiel and Darmstadt. So we've done all right in terms of being away from it. Any noticeable wins? No, we've kind of beaten all the teams you'd expect. 15 defeats is a lot, but, Leverkusen, Stuttgart, Holstein Kiel's disappointing. Bayern Munich, yeah. We're just doing enough at the moment, and unfortunately for us, it gets worse. We're in the new stadium. We've been given a budget of £4 million. It's not great. We've been given about 30-odd million for the performances in the league. We need to get up that league because the league places are worth like 4 million each at the moment. So every position we get up means a lot. There's going to be a lot of work to be done in the transfer market. Egerstein, Saib, Kruth, Owusu, Nino and Bernadetti are definitely going to stay. Achipong's already going. There's a little bit of scope in here with a couple of them to get them out. Like Egerstein's on a lot, 34 grand. Saib's on a lot. We maybe could put that and that towards, maybe him and a couple of the backups towards a bigger kind of quality of signing. Things need to change. We need to really, hopefully, have we got any value? Reich still decent value and has had a decent season with an average rating of 6.95. The issue we've got a little bit is just that quality in those attacking areas. Nino, 10 goals. Mariba's chipping in with a nice 7. Felix has come in with a nice 6 in his opening season. Dimikio's managed with 3, but that's, it's not enough goals, is it? We're not scoring enough goals. That was the problem last year. I think, was it 28 goals last year? This season, 37. Defensively, we're strong, but we maybe get that with that back 3. By the way, tactic available for the Patreon, season 7, 3-4-2-1. I love it in game. It's, it's Amarim, it's 2 10s, 2 6s. Yeah, I absolutely love it. We just need a little bit more quality, I think, in the final third. Okay, moving into season 9. So that was season 7. We're moving into season 8. We need, at the moment, we're just chugging. Like, we're expected to finish bottom of the Bundesliga this year. I think the media prediction was 18th. The bookies had us 14th. So we're down and around where we should be, but we need to start progressing. Bear in mind, we want to win that Bundesliga, and it feels like we're obviously closer to where we are from where we started, but we're still a million miles off, and it feels that the jump from 2 to being maybe a low established, I feel like a little bit of a Brentford maybe at the moment, where we're just hovering above it. Couple of scares, but we've been all right. But that next move from being Brentford mid-table to Brentford beating Manchester City, aka in the Bundesliga Bayern Munich, is going to be extremely tricky. Bayern Munich have managed to get the title back. They've won it 6 out of the first 7. There you go, 1, 2, yeah. They've won it out of the first 6, 7 with Leipzig winning it last year and Bayern Munich retaining it. So they're very, very strong. It's going to be a lot of hard work. So we're into season 8, and by far, remember, we've had our lowest budget. £4 million gets us absolutely nowhere, but we've had a turn of luck. As you can see on the right, our wage budget is heavily in the red. We've had a massive summer. So excited. How did we get to this point where we could have our most valuable transfer market so far of the save? Was because we sold Lucas Reich to AC Milan for £31 million, rising to 39. I wasn't sad at all to let him go. He's been decent, but we've got cover in there. Remember, we've got Matthias Dimikio, that Argentina regen. So we didn't really need him. The fact that he was German is a little bit annoying, but that money, 100% of the money as well that we get goes into the transfers at the moment. So from that, we've been able to do a huge rebuild, as we call it, and we've completely revitalised our squad. Wilson Odobert, he was on about 30 grand, so it's good to get him off the wages. Had a couple of seasons with us, did absolutely nothing. So, yeah, we're moving higher, we're moving on, super excited. Ashipong's gone as well, that we spoke about earlier. He's said we've gone into Preston. Number 1, Harry Amas. We've gone young. We've gone sell on value. Harry Amas is in, £9 million, playing in that left wing-back role or left full-back role. Absolutely ideal. Jonah Kusi-Azer is in for a bargain £3.7 million. He was signed by Bayer Leverkusen for 6.25. I think that we potentially can make a little bit of a superstar out of him. He can do the roles that I like, the advance forward, the target forward potentially as well. Balls in the box and see if we can nod him in. I think that's an absolute bargain. Christian Bejarano, we are going Colombian. We are going 1.5 million from Deportivo Cali. At the moment, I'm not sure where the best position is for him. Maybe a no-nonsense centre-half, but 6 foot, really good mentals and physicals, adding so much depth. He can also do a job at left-back, maybe the left side. Probably been with him being comfortable on his left foot as well. We could maybe do him with a left foot strong. We could probably do a left-sided centre-half with him. Robin Zetner is in. We've spent money. 8,000 on him, but a really good backup goalkeeper to have. Forgot to mention as well, Agustin Saib went, Owusu went, and our backup goalkeeper went. So that was the main reason why we brought another keeper in. And then a couple of frees. Renato Vega, I thought was once again, light on the Hinchelwood kind of thing. Could do multiple roles. I am thinking, even though he's not amazing at it, I do think he's got a profile to potentially be really good in that left wing-back role, left centre-half, middle of midfield, free transfer, £30,000. Big one! Sevilla, Halstaff, Naipan, a bit of an FM legend for this year. He's very versatile, which leads me to a problem with where I don't know what to do with him. Now, if you've had him in your save, which I imagine a lot of you have had, I would love to know, in case I ever sign him again, where to put him in the side. Where would you play him? Where have you had the best tune out of him? But for us to get him on a free, after being at Manchester City, have kind of ruined his career a little bit, very much the Odegaard move to Real Madrid, he's then been dumped on the free transfers, and we've absolutely got a bargain. Look, sell on potential, reputation levels all increased. Yeah, super excited to see what we could do with him. We've got those 210s playing at the moment as well in the advanced playmaker roles, so he'll be all right. He needs a partner, and we got in Ethan Wanyeri, free transfer. What is going on? I was really worried that this save was going to really dip after the struggles and then be given 4 million, but we've managed to get players in with significant sell-on value. I think we've got to look at that a little bit realistically, but I'm hoping that these two, Wanyeri and Naipan, can get us. What's his fucking name? Naipan can move us on to that next level. Once again, versatile, can play in a whole host of different positions, wide areas, 210s, can play as an 8. Can play as a striker, absolutely no problem. And the last one, for people that know me very well, I absolutely love Teo Zidane. He played in my Malaga save and was absolutely incredible as like an AP, dropping deep, goals, assists, arriving late at the box, 6'5". I'm not sure where I'm going to put 3 attacking central midfielders into my team, but we'll worry about that as the season goes on. Season-wise, we've only played 2 games, right? And after the first game, I thought, aye, we're on it here. We're on for a superb season. We beat Schalke comfortably, and then we went to Hamburg the game after and got absolutely spanked. So where we're going to fit, I don't know. The board, what are the board wanting from us at the moment? B-, struggling to stay in budget, but we're going to move some of the leftover transfer money to go in there. They wanted to play direct football, which we're not doing. Avoid relegation is still the kind of the plan. 15th prediction, so that's gone up a little bit. And then the Bundesliga itself, what do the bookies have us at? It's 15th. So definitely an improvement in terms of the players that we've signed have made us stronger. Look, we've got a good base now. A really good base. Young goalie, couple of regens, Harry Amas, Bernardetto that we've had for a number of seasons, but he's looking really nice. Wanyeri, Naipan, Nemecha, Kusi-Azer. Then we've got Teo on the bench, Hinchelwood, Nino, Mariba, Bejarano, our new Colombian player. We've got depth. And there's still players on the bench as well. Makoku's not in the squad, Vinlof, Hasp Jensen. Yeah, I'm really excited about where we can now go over the next couple of seasons with these players in. Let's go and find out how Season 8 has got on. 10th. It's our best season. Our best season. 10th in the league, 44 points, 10 points away. We've never, poor start, picked up again. I'm a little bit underwhelmed with that, but we did have a really good run in the DFB Pokal. And as you can see, we lost in the final to Leverkusen. 103rd minute goal. We had a little bit more of the ball. We just didn't create enough. And you can see we've been flipping with the tactic a little bit. Try and find a little bit of a better balance. So for the second half of the season, when we've picked up, we kind of ditched the 3. Because I thought, look, we're strong now. Let's move it into a 4. We've got all those 10s. Teo. So the idea is that the 2 shadow strikers push on, and then we have a middle one who sits in. The wing-backs are now pushing on high, so then Bernadetta will come in to make a back 3. Naipan can play a little bit deeper, and he kind of gets them all into the team at the same time. So the second half, we got smashed, absolutely smashed by Bayern. But look, there's 4 wins in there. There's 2 in there. Going to Leipzig and winning, I think, is really respectable. Good wins away from home. Clean sheets in there. Maybe we've seen the start of something a little bit different in terms of really kicking on. 10 points off the European places. But I feel like this season now, with the players we've got, we're a little bit closer. We've not been given much to spend. £6 million, which is maybe, what you'd expect because of what we spent in the previous summer. But now it's more of like, maybe we can get in a couple of players from South America for a couple of mil. That won't be on high wages. And once that is the case, we can then look at really kicking on. We need European football now. That is the key. Getting European football is absolutely huge. I don't know what we're going to do in terms of transfers this summer. It's going to be tricky. I don't really want to sell players. I really don't want to sell anyone unless it's a stupid offer, because it's just going to make us weaker. Selling these and then having to replace them, it might be a case of, can we get a really good free transfer in? Can we get a couple of players in from South America, or maybe even a couple of loans to really boost us on for season 9? Is it changing? Are we getting there? I think we are. It's very slow progress, but we've had our best season in the Bundesliga, finishing 10th. So into season 9, we let Jonathan Hasp Jensen go on a free. It looked like he might turn into something. We just maybe underappreciated him a little bit, and we just at the time maybe didn't have, when he was of that young age, to really give him the opportunity to kick on and progress. So he's gone, but it's been a really disappointing transfer market just because we didn't have any money. We couldn't sell anyone. In fact, we've probably got weaker because we've lost Amin Al-Dakil. He is now 30. He's on a lot of money. He wanted a lot of money to stay with us, so he ended up rejecting us anyway and going to Damak in Saudi. Good few seasons with us, like around anything a centre-back around the 7s as an average rate, and I think he hasn't done too bad. So that was disappointing, but we did bring in Kevin Zaroli. I've never come across him before, but he looks like someone I imagine you lot have, so let me know down in the comments if you have. Tremendous mentals and physicals. I will keep my eye on him when it comes to my Sampdoria save that I will be doing very, very soon on the channel, so make sure you subscribed. He will be a massive part of an Italian team. Love it. 6'2", Volante. I was looking at that long-term replacement from an Nemecha, who's now sort of like 31, 32. So I thought that was a really good freebie. And we did say, can we get in a South American player? And we've brought one in, a huge centre-back, 6'5", jumping reach 60, decent physicals. He can run a little bit, decent mentals, half decent at heading, marking, and can put in a tackle with 17 bravery, 15 positioning. I think that's a really good £1 million spent. Now, we're into January, and it's a bit blur. Win, lose, draw, that kind of thing. And we're in and around 12th place. And we're not going to go down because the bottom 3 are absolutely dog shit. But I'm disappointed. I don't know if we're a little bit weaker. We've gone to this 4-2-3-1. And the idea behind it was, we maybe needed to be a little bit wider in terms of possession, because we were playing that narrow 4-2-3-1. Naipan then comes in here as an AP. Hamas goes round the back. He delivers, gets balls in the box for Kusiazer to score. That was the plan, with obviously Wanyeri getting involved as shadow striker. That was the plan. And it's done okay. There's nothing in the tactic really that means it shouldn't really work. But it hasn't. We haven't kicked on as much as I thought. I was really excited when I set this team up. I was really excited with how it was looking. There's obviously a couple of players in different positions at the moment because of like injuries and stuff. But yeah, it's not been amazing. Kusiazer has got 6 goals so far in the season, 11 in the previous season. He's not kicking on as much as I thought he actually would. So there we are, halfway through the season. Yeah, pretty much halfway through the season. It'll be nice if we can just kick on. Remember, position-wise, performance-wise, look, every place is worth between 3 and 4. Like, look at that. The jump there from Champions League. You get 71 million for playing Champions League and then 58 million for fifth. And then it drops sort of like £3 or £4 million at a time. So high up possible. Top half finish we need at least maybe this season. Is it doable? It maybe is doable, but looks like we're going to be in and around those positions that we've been around for the last few seasons. And that proved to be the case. It's getting frustrating. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Season 9 comments. What would you do to, kickstart the save a little bit? I'm not one for looking to find an OP tactic. I like to keep it realistic, but it's a struggle. It's a bloody struggle. We did quite well in the DFB Pokal, losing Dortmund in the semi, but, 11th, we've just not kicked on. 41 points isn't a lot, is it? Minus negative goal difference. Lot of winning team, Leipzig, we seem to like Leipzig at the moment, but a draw's fair. Look, we've been quite inconsistent. Or consistently inconsistent, should I say. 10 wins, 11 draws, 13 defeats. A lot of away defeats in there. We're kind of just we're a 7 out of 10. We're a James Milner at the moment. And we need to change it up. We sold a little bit in the transfer market. Suleimana going out for 3.4 and 4.3. So that has given us, this year, we've actually been given a little bit of a budget for once. We've been given £17 million, which is the most by far that we've had. I think the most we've had before that is 10 million, I think. So it's nice to have a little bit, especially because we've spent big. It does mean now that we can really, I'm happy with what we've got. We maybe just need to score more goals, because if we look at the stats, Kusiazer 14, Nino's done well, playing as that inside forward on that right-hand side. We've changed it up again. We just weren't getting a thing out of that sort of like 4-2-3-1 with Teo, and I know he can play a little bit deeper, so we've gone with this 4-2-3-1. The idea that Nino's had a decent return, actually like hitting and supporting Kusiazer. Good quality ball players in the midfield with the kind of the quality. We've got Mariba and Zaroli. He's playing as a little bit of a halfback, so he drops in. And yeah, I don't think we're doing a lot wrong. I just don't think we have that absolute goal getter. Like 14's probably the most that we've had actually from a striker in the Bundesliga. So we're getting there. I think we are getting, I'm really disappointed with the finish this season. Super disappointed. But maybe this set of clubs, like Augsburg, have got Champions League. They were relegated from the Bundesliga in the second season, went straight back up, and then have done extremely well. So there's hope for us there. And going out, potentially, there's only a few bit part players. Mane, Vinloff, Elgelhardt, Zetner, the old goalkeeper. So, once again, that money, everyone stays. Sign maybe 2 or 3. But the 2 or 3 need to be better than the 2 that we signed this summer. They really need to be difference makers. Going in straight into that starting 11. Absolutely. No question about it. We need that next step of real quality. We've had that with Wanyeri and Naipan. Kusiazer, but I think we need to go again. Potentially another striker, attacking player, because it's the goals scored that are causing us problems, I think. Has it been another season of bad goals? 50. That's probably the most that we've scored. But then this year, look, because we've moved away from that back 5, we've let in 51. So maybe it's the centre-back areas that we need to strengthen in. Bearing in mind as well that we are playing Dimicchio at right-back, at centre-back a lot, and he's probably better off as a right-back. He's only 5'10". Gutierrez, who came in, is pretty good, but once again, better suited to being a fullback. So yeah, centre-backs actually is where we need to strengthen. Okay, so transfers. We had about £17 million to spend, which we've not all spent, but we obviously let go a couple of players. Engelhardt, Vinloff are the main 2 that were with the first team. And then on the outs, Mane's gone. Nemetcha's gone, but he was now 33 and big physical dropped. They were all sort of like 13s and 14s a couple of seasons ago. Had two decent seasons with us, and then a couple of appearances towards the end where we started kicking on in terms of quality of squad. So he's gone. Nikhil has gone as well, was no more than a bit part player for us over the seasons. And interestingly, Berejano has gone after just kind of 2 seasons. He wasn't well suited. He was whinging a lot. Yeah, he just didn't play enough. So we decided to not cash in, but make a little bit of money back on him. And then we can go again with someone else. It's very much, if that one don't work in South America, you go and find someone else, don't you? We've, though, kept it a little bit more German. Vigo Gebel is in from Leipzig. Had a really good sort of like versatile look to his profile, as you could say. It was just to be a squad player, and he's already alienated with the season that we've given him because he obviously thinks he can play more, and he's not that great, but I thought it was a decent sign in terms of squad packing. Remember, German players, we've lost a couple there with Nemecha going out. We need to bring more German players in. We did bring in, though, a foreigner, Diego Castro, an Argentinian from River Plate. £4.7 million. He's now worth 19 to 25. He's only 24 years old. He's had an average season, 5 goals, 3 assists, but he's played 33 Bundesliga games. So he's definitely a player to kick on. He's not got quite the winger capabilities. He's not that quick, but a very good technical player. He's wanted by Al Nassr. So sell on value. We need a couple of these. That right deal for that German right back kicked us on to help us get them Naipan in and Wanyeri and things like that. This one could be the next one where we sell him on in maybe a year's time. He's had a season with us, and a year's time, then he moves on to something bigger and better, and we get a bit of money. Sasha Freya. Now, he was not fancied at all in the game by my scouts or anything. He's had a season in Bundesliga too, but I just looked at him and thought, 6'3", you can cross it, you can dribble, you got good first touch, you got good mentals, and your physicals are tremendous. So I thought, why not go with a German player as well? We've spent a bit of money on him though, £6.5 million. And the last one, Tim Goller, backup goalie, just to try and get squad registration. You need to have your goalkeepers. I always like my goalkeepers to be in the nation that I'm from. In particular, one at least to be trained by the club. The other 2 trained by the nation. It does help that when you do get into Europe, you've got something in terms of squad registration rules that are, you're ticking boxes basically. Now, in terms of European football, we couldn't get any closer. We finished 8th, 51 points. Amazing, last year we drew loads and this year not as many. But we have finished higher than Dortmund, which is pretty impressive. 51 points, 5 points off Europe in the end. And when Europe looked like it was in sight, we then decided to lose to Wolfsburg, Hamburg and Fortuna Dusseldorf. 2 of those wins would have seen us in and around it. We were actually involved in the Champions League. If we'd have won our last 3 games, we would have got 4th place in Champions League football. So maybe after 10 seasons, we're up and running in terms of being really competitive. We've not broken in, but we're knocking at the door for them European places now. We kept the tactic throughout as well, playing this half-back with a Mez and an AP. So yeah, really happy. Like, that was a killer. I always stop the save around April time and then dive in and see where we're at and then play a few games. And even my management couldn't save us getting beat to Wolfsburg. Yeah, could have gone either way. Look at our XG as well. One was a penalty, but yeah, really Hamburg. Hamburg seemed to be a bit of our bogey side. And then Fortuna Dusseldorf relegated. Hamburg 10th. Wolfsburg, I suppose, but we were at home there. You would have thought we'd have been able to pick up some points in those games. How close? Highest position in 4th, but, we're getting there, aren't we? Now have the board supported us? 13.6. It's not much. Maybe a couple of players or 2, couple of free transfers, maybe someone who's been released a little bit early would be lovely. All right, but we're 10 seasons in. We're now worth 336 million. Our reputation's increasing. We've got our own stadium that we own. So since we started, we had the 5th and the 7th and a 15th, 14th, 11th, 14th, 12th, 10, 11 and 8th. 51 by far our highest point tally. So I think we've potentially turned with the players that we've got, the ages that we've got a couple of players now that are worth a bob or 2. If we go on contract, Naipan, Wanyeri, Amas, Dimikio, Hinselwood, Castro, who we've spoke about, all worth a nice chunk of change. So there's real issues now. Less issues, should I say. There's a real chance in us now. Yes, players may leave. They may get sick of us because we've not got European football, but selling one of those will really enhance us to maybe get 2 or 3 other players in and kick us on. Goals, Nino with 16 has been playing in and out, inside forward striker, but has been a really good signing for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons now. Couple of seasons he hasn't featured a lot, but this one has been his best. 16 goals for him has been a good, despite him contract. I think we'll definitely offer him a new deal, even though he's 29. I think we'll keep hold of him. We don't want to have to keep going out and replacing players. It'd be nice to keep them. Can we then strengthen with a little bit of quality in some really key areas? I do think centre-back is probably still an area that we need to strengthen in. So we're 10 seasons in. We're at a good base now. We're a solid Bundesliga club. We've been given that 30 million. I think we could kick on now. European football, hopefully by the end of season 11. So moving into season 11, there was a little bit of optimism with like the improvement in that 8th place position in season 10. Not much money to go round, but at the same time, we only thought we maybe need a couple more to really kick us on. However, in the summer, we've had to do a little bit of not a rebuild, but it's turned out to be a really frustrating summer. Elax Marira has gone now. He was on a free transfer, contract out. He wanted like a 4-year deal or something. So with him being a big part of our club over the last few years, it was a difficult one, but going based on the numbers, we had a couple of good seasons there at 11 and 9, then it's been a 6 or 4 and only 1 goal, a lot of substitute appearances. He's now 32. It's time to say goodbye to Mariba. Alongside that, Teo, who I've not really spoke about, despite him being one of my favourite players, my favourite player of FM24, we haven't been able to use him. I didn't build a tactic around him, and that has cost him in his latter stages of career. He's ended up retiring pretty early, actually, at the age of 33. The third and final season, only played 6 games, 2 starts in the league. So I didn't get the best out of him. He was always not regarded well in the game, but I mean it. If you can get him in early in FM, bearing in mind we're now season 11, he starts the game in his early 20s. Get hold of him. There's a big player in there for you. Left on a free transfer, never quite fitted in. He's been sort of like second choice in a lot of those left back positions. In particular now, we've got Harry Amas, so he's played second fiddle. Without European football as well, there's not many other games for him to get his opportunities. And he's left and had a full season with Schalke. And then for us, a little bit frustrating, really. We brought in Dennis Seaman. Now, I brought him in as a little bit of a backup / first choice / cup goalie. Yeah, to push our current goalkeeper, Hyde. I also thought as well, Hyde hasn't kicked on and been that superstar, and this keeper is pretty decent. Really good at aerial reach, good 1v1s, good rushing out, 6'4", German. Decided to spend a little bit of money as well at £2.3 million. Jordan Ross is a free transfer that we need to try and get more of because he's of a good age. Advanced forward, pretty good stats, attributes as well. Finishing 17, physical's decent, mental's decent. Nice little bit of technique, off the ball, flair, determination. Yeah, composure not great. And that maybe shows in the statistics because he's only scored 6 league goals for us, 8 in all comps. But at the time, look, a little bit of value as well. Been around, came through the system at Ross County, then Man City paid big money and once again never played him. So he's probably lost his good development years there. Hopefully going forward for us, he can be a little bit of a backup. Bayan Adaya is just a backup right back. Once again, I like the profile of him being physical, decent age as well, only just, 20 when we signed him. Got him from Dynamo Dresden. I spent a couple of years with them and not had a great couple of seasons. There was just something I liked about him. His defensive attributes weren't bad. Mental's good. Physicals are good at a young age, 6'1". I thought he had potential to really grow and develop. And then the most exciting one is Juan Augusto Aponzo. Been at Liverpool for a few years. Been released. As you can see with us, he's had a really good first season. Defensive midfielder. He's got a lot of lacking attributes, but then he makes up with it with a lot of, his passing's good, his tackling's good, his technique's good. Deep line playmaker all day long. And he's hopefully going to become a big part of the club. Only 25 years old. Valued super big as well, which helps because ideally at some point we're going to have to make that sell because we've not had a sell this year. We've kind of flatlined a little bit. And that kind of shows in the league table because we've finished 10th. So not as good as 8th, obviously. Maths, Matty, well done. But we've just missed out. Once again, 6 points was the difference. We've had a negative goal difference, which is slightly disappointing. 13 defeats in there. Similar clubs, 2 at Bayern, 2 at Dortmund. And we've just not really kicked on. Disappointing as well. We only won 1 out of our last 3 games. Like Stuttgart at home, Augsburg away. We beat Bochum, but yeah, disappointing that we've missed out on Europe again. especially then when it was maybe there for to take it very much a 6-pointer against Augsburg that we came. Augsburg have done super well. So good. 10th, 8th, 4th, 2nd in 22-33, which we've not spoke about enough. They're very much a staple club. 2nd last year in the Bundesliga, obviously a million miles way behind Bayern, 25 points, but nonetheless, finishes 2nd. GG's. It's now Gladbach's turn to take that 2nd spot as Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen fall behind. Bayern, they're just still amazing. They have got Vincent Kompany still in charge. Some of their good players coming through, Pavlovic, and obviously Paul Wanner, a bit of an FM legend. You can sometimes get him on a free, so just watch out for that if you've never come across him before. So a little bit disappointing for us. We did actually go for it a little bit with the tactic. We went 4-2-4 because we had, we've got the quality. We have like Kusiazer. I thought that was going to be, with, Jordan Ross, a really good defensive attacking partnership. And then out wide, we had players such as Castro, Naipan, Wanyeri, Freya, who I haven't seen much. At this side, very much a creative side. I think the plan was very much to have a winner on that side and have a little bit of an AP on this side. So we have had Castro, Naipan, Wanyeri. They can all do it and rotate between them with backups such as Nino, Makoku. Disappointed, really disappointed. I imagine, is it goals that have been the problem? 51 and 53, so a little bit of both. Too many goals conceded and not enough goals scored, really. If we go to the stats, lead goal scorer Kusiazer with 13, Wanyeri with 10. But if you look at his recent form, he's kind of played a lot advanced forward because Ross has not been in good form and he can do a job up there for us. Can kind of play anyway, Wanyeri. But yeah, quite disappointing. Naipan, we've not really spoke about either because he's now had his 4th season with us. Last 2 seasons have been okay. Not all the seasons have been okay. He's just not developing the numbers that we'd want. He has played a little bit deeper. A couple of seasons he played in midfield, sort of like one of the deeper 6 positions. This year he's played as an AP on that right-hand side. And yeah, we've tried to put a tactic together to try and score lots of goals because I know that's what's been happening in my York City save that I'm currently doing on Twitch, that we could score a lot of goals with this sort of like 4-2-4. And we've tried to, we've got our 2 wing-backs playing a little bit higher. And it just hasn't clicked this season. Super disappointing. And as well now, the money thing is catching up with us. We've got even less money this year. Only £8 million in the bank. As you can see, we've lost a lot of money because our wages are now high, a lot higher. Naipan's on 105,000, Kusiazer's on 79. These are big, big jumps. And we're just not doing enough as a club to kind of kick us on and get more money in. It's a case of we need to get European football extremely quickly. If we look at the finances, go to expenditure, and then go to this season, player wages have now gone up to £48 million. If we go to income, the total income is £86 million. So we're over nearly 60% of our turnover is going back out on wages. Everything's just catching up with us a little bit. We need a little bit of a break here because we're kind of now just settled in. We're very much Brentford. We're doing enough. I don't want to be Brentford. I want to be Bournemouth. I want to be Nottingham Forest. So we need a little bit of luck. We need a little bit of quality in the transfer market. We're now scouting better, I think. Our scouting system is better. Mikio is now a very important part of our team. We've kind of not sold him on. Nothing's come in, but an integral part of the squad. So we need a couple more like this. So season 12, and it's been a big one. We've had a little bit of, not luck, but our signings have bared fruit, basically. Makoku's left, still a free agent, never got going. It's amazing how many seasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons he was with us, and he barely kicked a ball. He was just never good enough. And in that time, he signed another contract as well. But yeah, he's fallen off a cliff in terms of real life and FM, hasn't he? But yeah, I was hoping for a fairy tale with him, and we never even got close. However, we had no money to spend, but things have happened. Kusiazer decided to let him go, and it'll kind of like a little bit more sense in a bit. 10.75. He was good. He was good. He had a year's left on his deal. He wanted ridiculous amount of money. He was on close to 100,000, I think, a week he was on. So I'm more than happy to let him go and us to reinvest, and that was what we've done. Michael Gutierrez has gone as well. We brought him in for 850k. He'd done 4 seasons with us, 4 good seasons. I never thought he was, his physicals and mentals are tremendous, but his technicals, a little bit of defending, in terms of his tackling, marking. I suppose he's a very solid, no-nonsense centre-back, but he's managed to get 23.5 million. It gets better. Diego Castro, do you remember him? 4.7, a little bit of a shell out, and we thought, yeah, he might have potential to move on. He didn't have great seasons with us, but he's gone to Man City for 52 mil, and he's had a great time for them. 2 goals in his first 5 games and an average rating of 7.58. So we had a little bit of money to spend. We do get 100% of the money taken in, and we've spent not all of it. We're over on the wages, but we've not spent all of it. First one in, Chido Obi. Now I've had him at Manchester United. I've had him at York City on loan, but now he's at a point where he is prime. He's 27. That is the upgrade to Koutia. So that's why we've done it. He was on a lot of money, but a free transfer. I thought this was the year where we know what happens with the money and the wages. It gradually gets smaller and smaller if we don't keep selling like we haven't done over the last few years. So having Chido in, I thought, sod it, we're getting him in. He's had some really good seasons in the Premier League. It's a big signing for us, that. Tomo in, a really good, this was kind of the Gutierrez replacement. £8 million from Benfica, went through the Gibraltar route, because he's Gibraltar. And 70 caps already. He's Gibraltar, so I suppose that doesn't really show you his continental reputation, but a really good pace, 15 heading, 14 tackling, 14 marking, 16 tackling, good physicals, really good mentals. I think a superb centre-back. Austin Vaughan, 17.75. Once again, this is because we let go Kousia and we need more goals, and we've gone for it this year. Now 24 years old, we've got him from Chelsea, hasn't featured. It's his time to really shine with us. 6'1", 15 pace, dribble, finish, first touch. Passing's not very good, but technique. Then there's decisions, determination, flair, leadership, concentration, not great. Composure's pretty good though. I'm hoping he could score a lot of goals. And as you can see, he started quite well. In DFB Pokal, he scored 4 goals and he's got a perfect 10. In Bundesliga, 5 games, 3 goals. So he's made a really good start for us. Once again, potential sell on value. We haven't finished. Juan Jose Ferreras. He has come from Boca Juniors, another Argentinian. A little bit older. We've gone a little bit older rather than buying these 18, 19-year-olds that you've got to wait a little bit. We've gone for him at the age of 22. We'd actually had him on a shortlist for a couple of years, but we've waited for the right time. It's again, 6'4", big boy, can kind of do ball winning, anchor, can do probably a little bit of deep line playmaker as well, but we're looking at that potential maybe volante kind of role for him. And the last one is a big one. We've spent £20 million on a defender who is 31 years old, but I'm a massive fan of him when he was young coming through in one of the older FMs, and I just thought, look, 6'3", he's 31, but he's still got 17 pace, and I just thought, German. We're going into Europe soon. I can feel it. So we need to tick these boxes for these registration. Obviously, for Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, you need 8 players from the nation, 4 from the club, which is going to be a huge problem for us because we've got absolutely no one apart from maybe a third choice keeper. But I thought this was just a sensible, we can't just go long term. We get 3 good seasons out of him. He may prove to be a really important signing for us. And with that, we've started the season exceptionally well. This is the highest we've probably been after the 5 games. 4 wins and 1 draw. We started the season with a 4-0 win over Hida. Interesting, I thought we'd win like 10-0, but it wasn't. It was 4-0. Lost in Vaughan, just decided to get all 4. We then beat Union Berlin 3-2. We've been absolutely spanked by RB Leipzig 4-1, which was super disappointing. But then, look at these. 4-0 Kaiserslautern, 3-0 Dortmund away, and 2-1 against Augsburg, which is Augsburg, but we've just spoke about them recently, about their kind of rise to the top and to European football. Naipan getting a couple of goals. Naipan. Looks good, doesn't it? And there you go. We are rocking a very RB Leipzig 4-2-2. Kind of ignore like Farias. He's just doing a little bit of a job in there at the moment, but we've got Wanyeri who's out injured. Bernadetti's out injured, so there's a little bit of play to be done in here. But it looks new centre-back partnership. We've got Amas at left-back in his prime. We've got Dimico at right-back in his prime. Zaroli, kind of a bit part player at the moment, but doing a job for us. Aponza, who we got last season. Tremendous holding midfielder. Farias, that can go in there as well in the holding role. Naipan, we've got, who else can play attacking mid? Let's have a look. Naipan, Wanyeri, Zaroli and Farias. Kind of relying on Naipan and Wanyeri in there. Obi, Vaughan, Ross. We've also got Nino as well. He's now 31, but could potentially do a little bit of a job for us already. You know, looking like a bit part player, but still got a little bit of pace. Going on a free transfer. What a kind of cult figure he has been for the club. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's in his 8th season with us. Had a couple of really good seasons, then really dropped off towards the end of last year when he came a little bit of a bit part. But yeah, we've stepped it up a little bit. Once again, the tactic will be available for the Patreons. I'm really chuffed with how I took a huge risk on this. I just got a bit bored of these inverted wingers and inside forwards, and I thought, let's just go for it. So the idea is that the complete forward will roam a little bit and maybe allow that late run. And then because the AP is going really high, the advanced forwards going up high, we're just going to have the AP kind of dropping in to them holes, trying to find them passes in really, hopefully, dangerous areas. So into the end of the season, season 12. And finally, we've managed to get some European football. We have finished 5th, which at the time is Europa League football. But then fast forward 2 days, we've then actually qualified for the Champions League. The 5th place has been given because of, I think, of just like the coefficient and stuff like that. Germany was one of the best 2 teams in the countries for performance in Europe that year. So it has now turned into a Champions League spot. That means our potential money can really skyrocket now. We're talking what do you get for Champions League? What, maybe 50, 60 million pounds? At the moment, it's saying 23, which, to be fair, is our biggest budget so far. Now, performances. Who has shone in what has been the greatest season so far in the save? Goals, Austin, Chido Obi, both combining 16 each. It's nice now that we've got a partnership of 2 players scoring 16. Really impressed with that. Naipan's had his best season by far. 10 goals, 7 assists. Really enjoyed that higher position up the pitch, playing in number 10. Super good. Back up, Hamas has had a good season. No goals, not only 4 assists, but really top work. He's got a lot of work down that left-hand side without playing wingers. Aponza's steady in there, 6.99. The right back steady as well, 8 assists, 6.99. Where's Collins? Nwandi Collins, 6.97. So you take that, anything around 7. Who is it as well? Hinselwood's still kicking around for us. He's now 31. Good couple of seasons, but he's had his best season. So Hinselwood doing a little bit of everything, but doing it extremely well. Tom Owen as well, 6.84. Not great from him, and I'd expected maybe one of them to get into the 7s. We have conceded 57 goals. We are rock and roll, 67-57. Scoring goals, letting in goals, but we've done it. Well, we haven't done it. We've done something. We have got into Europe. We've got into the Champions League. I'm now already panicking that our squad is going to be put to the absolute limit because we need to play our strongest team in Europe. We can't just neglect Europe. We can't neglect Champions League. We go for it, don't we? And that is going to be a whole host of problems. Like, we've played with 1 left back, and Hinselwood has been a backup for both left back, right back, and defensive midfield. So we've got a bit of work to be done. I'm not sure if we're going to end up getting more than the 23 million. Maybe not. That's probably it. And the FM just knew that was kind of happening, that we'd get Champions League football. So it's good. I'm happy. We're 5th, taken 12 seasons, but we finally got ourselves into bloody Europe.